After being left with dismal results and placed in a virtual must-win situation to maintain his championship hopes of the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season, William Byron executed when it mattered most and capped off a dominant run from pole position by earning a clutch victory in the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway on Sunday, October 26th. Byron's dominant victory at Martinsville was all that was needed for the driver of the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet team to leapfrog their way from below to above the cut line and to make this year's Championship 4 field, where they will officially race for this year's championship come this year's finale 1 week from now. Greetings, race fans and motorsports enthusiasts around the world. My name is Andrew Kim, and this is Retro Motor Vibes, where I highlight anniversary stories and break down motorsports events near and far. For today's audio episode, here is a full breakdown of the 2025 Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway, a 0.526 mile short track in Ridgeway, Virginia. Without further ado, let's break the event down. The event's starting lineup was determined through an impounded on-track qualifying format that consisted of each of the 37 starters entered to compete in the event cycling around Martinsville for 2 laps in 1 round. The goal? Post a fastest lap amongst one another during the 2 given lap runs. This session occurred on Saturday, October 25th. At the conclusion of Saturday's qualifying session, playoff contender William Byron claimed the pole position with a pole-winning lap at 98.185 miles per hour in 19.286 seconds. For Byron, the pole was his third of the 2025 season and his first at Martinsville. Byron was joined on the front row with Ty Gibbs, the latter of whom posted his fastest lap at 98.175 miles per hour in 19.288 seconds. For Gibbs, this marked his first front row start of the 2025 season and his second time doing so at Martinsville. The event's first stage period spanned the event's first 130 laps. Within this first stage period, there were 2 lead changes for 2 different leaders and a single occurrence of a caution for 7 laps. The caution occurred on lap 27 when Daniel Suarez got turned sideways after receiving contact from Bubba Wallace, to whom he was racing for within the top 20 mark through the first 2 turns. At the front of the field, Byron led the first 30 laps from pole position, and despite pitting with the field and getting shoved back to second place while Michael McDowell assumed the lead with only 2 fresh tires, Byron used 4 fresh tires to reassume the lead on lap 36. From there, Byron, who led the most laps during the first stage period at 125, captured a stage victory, which was his 9th of the 2025 season. The event's second stage period spanned 120 laps from lap 141 to 260. During this stage period, there were no lead changes as Byron led all of the laps and proceeded to capture the stage victory, thus accumulating his stage victories of this year to 10. There were, however, 3 occurrences of cautions that spanned for 21 laps. The first occurred on lap 215 when Carson Hocevar spun after he was hit by his future teammate Daniel Suarez. 14 laps later on lap 229, a caution flew when Cole Custer was hit by Josh Berry amid a stack-up and spun in turn 4. Then on lap 242, Cody Ware, who was racing at the rear of the field, spun in turn 4 as he then had his right rear wheel detached. The third and final stage period spanned 230 laps from lap 271 to 500. Within this final stage period, the intensity on the track crescendoed as there were 4 lead changes for 4 different leaders and 4 cautions for 30 laps. The carnage started on lap 278 when Josh Berry spun after being bumped by both Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski through the first 2 turns. Then on lap 377 during a late cycle green flag pit stops, Eric Jones spun in turn 4 after he got loose and made contact with Wallace. On lap 397, Hocevar and Suarez made contact for a second time, ironically once again through turn 2 as Suarez sent Hocevar for a spin. Hocevar's race went from bad to worse then on lap 482 when he spun for a third time, this time in turn 4. Mired within the carnages and cautions, Championship 4 finalists Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin experienced engine issues that took them out of contention. Briscoe's engine issue occurred on lap 295 while Hamlin experienced his while racing in second place on lap 335. The engine issues and concerns did not affect their status of already being clinched to the championship 4 round, based on both winning throughout the round of 8. At the front of the field, Blaney, who started in 31st place and led for the first time on lap 272, led the most laps at 177. But with 44 laps remaining, Byron reeled in and made contact with Blaney. This sent Blaney up the track through the first 2 turns as Byron returned atop the leaderboard. And from there, Byron fended off Blaney to capture the victory. With the victory, Byron achieved his 16th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series division, his 3rd at Martinsville, and his 3rd of the 2025 season. The victory was also the 8th of the 2025 season for Hendrick Motorsports and the 15th for the Chevrolet nameplate. By winning at Martinsville, the 3rd and final round of 8 event in the playoffs, Byron, who started the event below the cut line, leapt above the cut line and clinched a championship 4 berth for a 3rd consecutive season, and therefore he will race for the 2025 Cup Series championship. Here are the full race results of the 2025 Xfinity 500. The drivers highlighted in bold indicate that they are playoff competitors. In addition, the competitors highlighted with 1 asterisk indicate that they recorded stage points in at least one of the event's first 2 stages, while the drivers with 2 indicate that they recorded points in both stages. Next, here is the 2025 Cup Series playoff standings and how the 8 playoff competitors are ranked following the 3rd and final round of 8 postseason event. As previously mentioned, Byron's Martinsville victory enabled him to join Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin as Championship 4 finalists. Byron's teammate Kyle Larson also claimed a Championship 4 berth based on points and by finishing 5th at Martinsville. On the flip side of emotions, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and the reigning series champion Joey Logano did not do enough to make this Championship 4 field, and therefore they will set their sights for a title next season. Overall, the 2025 Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway produced 7 lead changes for 5 different leaders and 10 cautions for 78 laps. From the field of 37 who started the event, 32 finished the event overall, while 18 finished on the lead lap. William Byron's Cup victory on Sunday capped off a quadruple header weekend of racing at Martinsville Speedway. On Thursday, Austin Beers became the youngest NASCAR Well & Modified Tour champion at age 22 years, 7 months, and 5 days, after he finished in second place on the track at Martinsville to race winner Justin Bonsignor. On Friday, Corey Heim notched his 11th NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series victory of the 2025 season at Martinsville. But by then, Heim had already secured a Championship 4 berth by winning earlier in the month of October at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Therefore, the reigning champion Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, and Caden Honeycutt joined Heim to the Championship 4 round. Meanwhile, Lane Riggs, Raja Caruth, Daniel Hemrick, and Grant Enfinger were eliminated from the playoffs. And on Saturday, Taylor Gray, who was eliminated from the Xfinity Series playoffs at the beginning of October, led the final 52 of 203 overscheduled laps en route to his first ever Xfinity Series career victory at Martinsville. While Gray celebrated the Martinsville victory, Jesse Love and rookie Carson Kvapil joined Justin Allgaier and Connor Zilic to the Championship 4 round. Meanwhile, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, and Sheldon Creed were eliminated from the playoffs. Next weekend, all 3 of NASCAR's top 3 National Touring Series, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, will have champions to crown as they enter next weekend's season finale events at Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. The Truck Series commences next weekend's finales with its championship race next Friday, October 31st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FS1, NASCAR Racing Network, and SiriusXM. The Xfinity Series then hosts its championship race next Saturday, November 1st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CW Network, MRN, and SiriusXM. Lastly, the Cup Series hosts its championship race at Phoenix for a 6th consecutive season, with this year's finale starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC, MRN, SiriusXM, and HBO Max. That's all for this episode. Have a great rest of your day, and see you on the next episode of Retro Motor Vibes.